Today we continue to listen Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta. First we have to recite Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta Pali, Anattalakkhaṇa, page 119. Can you follow me? Viññāṇaṃ bhikkhave natta Viññānicca idam bhikkhave atta abhavesa Naida Viññāna avadaya samviteya Labeta cha viññāne Evo me viññāna hotu Evo me viññāna mahositi Yasamacha ko bhikkhave viññāna natta Tasama viññāna avadaya samvitati Nacha labati viññāne Evo me viññāna hotu Evo me viññāna mahositi We recite together Viññāna bhikkhave natta Viññānicca idam bhikkhave atta abhavesa Naida viññāna avadaya samviteya Labeta cha viññāne Evo me viññāna hotu Evo me viññāna mahositi Yasamacha ko bhikkhave viññāna natta Tasama viññāna avadaya samvitati Nacha labati viññāne Evo me viññāna hotu Evo me viññāna mahositi Last few days we listened story of Sati Bhikkhu. He held the wrong views and Buddha explained Bhikkhu Sati, but he refused to accept. So when Bhikkhu Sati remained holding firmly to his wrong views, Buddha addressed the monks. Bhikkhus, have you ever heard me expounding the Dhamma in the way Bhikkhu Sati expressed? And other monks replied, No, Bhante. We have heard only that Viññāna arises out of condition, and that there is no arising of consciousness without condition. Other monks replied to Buddha, and Buddha explained in this way. Each consciousness arises because of its own condition. Consciousness is named according to whatever condition through which it arises. On account of the eye sensitivity and visible object, there arises a consciousness and it is called Chakku Vijnana, eye consciousness. On account of ear sensitivity and sound wave arises a consciousness, and it is called Sutta Vijnana, ear consciousness. On account of the nose sensitivity and odors, there arise a consciousness called nose consciousness, Gana Vijnana. On account of the tongue sensitivity and taste, arises a consciousness called Jiva Vijnana, tongue consciousness. On account of the body sensitivity and tactile objects, arises a consciousness called tactile body consciousness, Kaya Vijnana. On account of the mind and mind objects, arises a consciousness called Mano Vijnana, mental consciousness. And Buddha gave an example. For example, a fire may burn on account of wood, and it is called wood fire. It may burn on account of bamboo splinter, grass, cow dung, berry husks, refuse. Then it is called splinter fire, grass fire, cow dung fire, berry husks fire, and refuse fire. In a similar manner, consciousness is named according to how it is conditioned. The Buddha explained. Each consciousness arises because of its own condition. In this sutta concerning sati, Bhikkhu views, Buddha had given also a comprehensive treatment of Paticca law of dependent origination. And Buddha gave a simile of fire. When there is a forest fire, it might originate from burning of refuse or burning of dry leaves. If there is constant supply of fuels and there is no one to extinguish the fire, no firefighter, it will rage on for miles around. It might seem that the same fire continues on burning all the time. But you need to observe carefully. If you observe carefully, you will reveal that the fire that burns the refuse is not the fire that burns the grass. In the same way, the grass fire is not leaf fire. Among the leaf fire, the fire that burns a particular leaf is not the same as the one burning the other leaves. Now, during the practice of meditation, you observe everything, hearing, etc. And you can discover a lot of vijnana, various kinds of consciousness. You observe very carefully. You don't name that is Jagu Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, etc. But you see very clearly. Seeing consciousness and hearing consciousness appear to be one and the same consciousness to ordinary person. If you observe very carefully, you will see as distinct, separate consciousness depending on condition through which they arise. As soon as you see, you capture seeing, and seeing consciousness you capture. As soon as you hear the sound, you note hearing, and hearing consciousness you capture clearly. When you consider even one form of consciousness only, for example, seeing consciousness, you pay respect to you bow down to the Buddha. Seeing consciousness, you recognize. You will find different consciousness, different vijnana arising from different colors, white, black, etc. Golden statue Buddha, this golden color, there is one consciousness. Flowers are in front of the Buddha statue. Some are white color, white flowers. You recognize that it is one consciousness, one vijnana. Red color flowers, there is another one. There is another vijnana. Seeing consciousness, eye consciousness, you will find different consciousness arising from different colors, golden color, red color, white color, etc. Narrowing down to just one color, golden color. For instance, you bow down and you respect to the Buddha, virtues of the Buddha, you reflect the virtues, life qualities of the Buddha. You constantly take note as you have advanced to the stage of Udyabhya Jnana, knowledge of rise and fall and knowledge of dissolution. You will see in the seemingly continuous and single consciousness of golden color, you see preceding consciousness is separate and distinct from the succeeding consciousness. Even Buddha's golden gala, you see different consciousness. And the distinction is more pronounced when you note hearing. It's very clear preceding hearing consciousness and succeeding hearing consciousness. They are totally separate and distant. So in the case of hearing, it's more pronounced than in seeing. In the same way, smelling, you capture many vijnana, many smelling consciousness. Tasting, you very careful. Many tastes, you capture it. Many process, many vijnana you capture during eating. So in smelling and tasting, each consciousness is noted separately and distinctly. The most humorous note taking involved in the phenomena of touching and the distinction of each consciousness is also most pronounced when you observe diligently. When you feel pain, you carefully noting as pain, pain. Concentration gets strengthened and you see distantly each consciousness of pain, part by part as it arises. Even thinking, you capture thinking consciousness, mental consciousness or thoughts and ideas can be noted as each consciousness arises separately. If any thoughts or idea come in while noting rising and falling and sitting, touching, you quickly note thinking. Usually the intruding thoughts and idea comes to cessation as soon as it's arising, because you are capturing power more strengthened. Usually the intruding thoughts comes to cessation as soon as it's arising, is noted. But if thoughts persist in arising, conditioned by the same mental object, they should be observed, making their appearance part by part. So when the thoughts moves to another mental object change, the arising of separate consciousness, separate vijnana, is very distantly you observe, you capture. So when yogi can perceive the arising of each distinct vijnana, each distinct consciousness, with each separate noting, you come to realize personally the impermanent nature of consciousness, its nature of suffering, because of constant arising and vanishing, its insubstantial nature, because it is happening according to its condition, it is uncontrollable, it is unmanageable. So it is most important to gain such personal realization. But Buddha declared in the first all five aggregates are anatta, non-self. So we have explained fully how the five aggregates, Rupa aggregate, Vedana aggregate, Sanya aggregate, Sankhara aggregates, and Vijnana aggregates are non-self, anatta. And also we need to check ourselves. We have the kinds of atta clinging or not. The first one is Sami atta clinging. Sami means governor or governable or manageable. If you believe that there is a living substance inside your body, manageable, governable, and under your will, that kinds of clinging is Sami atta clinging. Another clinging is Nivasi. Nivasi atta clinging is if you believe that the inner substance is permanent and enduring in your body. If you believe in this way, it is nivasi atta clinging. Another clinging is karaka atta clinging. If you believe that all three kinds of activities, physical activities, vocal activities, and mental activities are carried out by the inner substance. It is called karaka atta clinging. And also another one is Vedaka atta clinging. If you believe that it is this living substance which experiences all the good sensation and bad sensation, it is called Vedaka atta clinging. So to remove all these clinging, you are practicing Vipassana meditation. So regarding this Vijnana, Buddha said, Vijnana is not safe. If Vijnana was safe, it would not tend to afflict, and it should be possible to manage consciousness. Let consciousness be all wholesome. Let consciousness be not unwholesome. You can manage. Actually, consciousness is not safe. For this reason, consciousness tends to afflict, and it is not possible to manage consciousness. Let consciousness be all wholesome. Let consciousness be not all unwholesome. And it is not manageable at will. So we have to continue. These 5 aggregates are not safe. It is another sutta, Pina Pinupama Sutta of Khandawega Sanyutta Pali text. It is very interesting. So in this Pina Pinupama Sutta, Buddha said, Pina Pinupamam Rupam Vedana Pupulupama Marisi Kupama Sinya Sinkara Gadalupama Mayupama Nisja Vinyanam Desita Decha Bandunam Pena Pendupamam Rupam. Rupa is like froth. So you can see the froth floating about in the creeks or waterways. They are made up of air bubbles and trapped in droplets of water. These droplets of water blown up by air bubbles assemble to form frothy scum the size of a human fist, human head the size of a man, or even bigger. If you see casually, a big mass of froth may appear to be substantial, but when you observe carefully, it turns out to be insubstantial, useless for any purpose. In the same way, our human body, complete with head, body, hands, and feet, in male form, in female form, appears to be very substantial. It seems permanent. The body looks beautiful and good. That rupa body seemingly a living entity. So this body is subjected to mental analysis. Now you bring your body into the lab, that is meditation center. And you need to analyze this body very carefully. When this body is subjected to mental analysis, it turns out to be just like the mass of froth, quite insubstantial. This body is a mere conglomeration of 32 abominable constituent parts. Here, body here, nails, toenails, teeth, skin, flesh, muscle, bone, etc. If you analyze more, it is found to be a conglomerate of minute subatomic particles, invisible to the naked eyes. It may be likened to a big pile of sand made up of minute individual sand particles. Alternatively, you may take an example of rice flour and wheat flour consisting of minute individual grains of rice or wheat powder. When soaked with the right amount of water, this rice flour or wheat flour turns into dough, a substantial mass, which can be quite big by using large amounts of flour. This substantial dough can be shaped into a figure of a man of massive size, but not of one solid mass. It is made up of conglomeration of fine grains of rice or wheat powder. In the same way, you observe your body. You look at your body. This body is not one solid mass. It is made up of small particles of matter massed together in one big heap. And it is just like the mass of froth, devoid of inner substance. There is no permanent core or no beautiful substance and no living entity called self. In our body, there is one material quality, it is vina in Pali. Vina is visible material qualities. So vina in Pali, that is visible material qualities, form a part of the body. If you remove those visible qualities, and the body will become devoid of shape and form, and you discover many times in your body, you find Patavi Dhatu, earth elements. The earth elements, the elements of extension, Patavi Dhatu forms that part of the body which is manifested in the sense of touch as rough, smooth, hard, or soft. You discover frequently the Teja Dhatu, elements of heat or cold. And during sitting, walking, standing, etc., you discovered your dhatu, air elements, the elements of motion, form the other parts of the body. So remove these three elements, earth elements, heat elements, or motion elements, the human body which can be touched and felt will no longer exist. And in our body there is one material quality, that is gandha. Gandha is qualities, material qualities of odors. It forms a constituent part of the body. So the human body can be sensed by its odors. If you take out that odors too, nothing will remain by which our human body will maybe recognized or identified. So one material body quality, that is Chakku Pasada. We see things because we have the sensitive material qualities of eyes. Without retina, eye sensitivity, the body cannot see anything, just like a blind man. And we also have sensitive material qualities of ear. With ear sensitivity, we can hear very clearly. And sensitive qualities of nose, and sensitive qualities of tongue, and the sensitive material qualities of the body. With sensitive material qualities of body, we get the sensation or touch. All these small but useful constituent material qualities come together to form and shape a human body, wholly contributing to its utility. Without them, our human body will have no utilitarian value. As a matter of fact, without these constituent parts, the human form cannot come into existence. So if these constituent parts are pulverized or reduced into particles to make them fall apart, our human body will no longer exist. There will be left only 5 particles of matter, and these sensitive material qualities such as eyes, visual objects are not existing permanently and enduring. If you observe these material qualities, they keep on arising and vanishing, the new coming into the place of the old ones. So this body is like a lump or mass of froth, just a conglomeration of substanceless material qualities. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, one of the meditation section is Patikula Manasikara. We need to reflect this body, contemplations of the body, with the reflection on the repulsiveness of the body, Patikula Manasikara. So it also deals with the different parts of the body. According to the Sutta, there are 32 body parts. Meditators are instructed to contemplate on the repulsiveness of these 32 parts. It is the same meditation of the body on the body described in the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification. In the Sutta, Buddha said, Bhikkhus, a bhikkhu reflect on this body upward from the sole of his feet, downward from the tips of his hair, enclosed by the skin, and the full of diverse impurities. So try to see our body, reflect on our body, upward from the sole of your feet, downward from the tips of your hair, enclosed by the skin. They are full of diverse impurities. 32 parts you know very well. Try to see your head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, bones, marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, intestine, spleen, lungs, bowels, stomach, undigested food, feces, brain, bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, lymph, saliva, nasal mucus, and synovial fluid, and urine, 32 parts. So you can survey your own body, look at it mentally, see the 32 parts of the body and contemplate repulsiveness with respect to these parts. For some people, this meditation on the repulsiveness of the body is difficult to understand and to accept. This difficulty should be a reminder to look at these kinds of meditation with an open mind. With an open mind and a firm dedication to freedom from suffering, you may come to understand why this meditation was praised by the Buddha. And Buddha said, Bhikkhus, when one thing is developed, repeatedly practiced, it leads to a supreme sense of urgency, it leads to supreme benefits, to supreme cessations of bondage, to supreme mindfulness and full awareness, to acquisitions of knowledge and vision, to a happy life here and now, to realizations of the fruits of clear vision and deliverance. What is that one thing? It is mindfulness occupied with body. So Buddha said, Bhikkhus, meditators experience the deathless who cultivate mindfulness occupied with the body. They do not experience the deathless who do not cultivate mindfulness occupied with the body. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha encouraged to practice this Kaya Nupassana, particular sinya, repulsiveness of the body. So according to Satipatthana Sutta, you practice when this body is to be subjected to careful examination and analysis by Satipatthana. You start from where phenomena manifests itself vividly. Walking meditation, you do very well. When walking, the material qualities of extension and movement become most prominent. Buddha simply said, Gichantawa Gichamiti Pajanati. When going, you know, I am going. You note going, raising, pushing forward, dropping, etc. And when standing, you note standing. When sitting, you note sitting. Touching, you note touching. And when sitting, also you note sitting and rising and falling. And also when you see your limbs, you also note seeing. And when you smell your body odors, you note smelling. And when the limbs are moved and stretched, you note stretching, moving, changing, etc. So that is according to Kaya Nupassana, contemplating the body in the body. Also Dhatu Manasikara, you reflect on the material elements. You contemplate these elements during your practice. Also again, walking, you discover 4 elements when you are walking: lifting, pushing forward, dropping. You lift your foot. The upward movements manifest the lightness in your foot. The lightness is caused by the fire elements. Raising, you raise your foot, and the movement, that movement is caused by the air element. Pushing forward, push your foot forward. This movement is also caused by the air elements. Dropping, you put your foot down, it becomes heavier. That indicates the presence of water elements. Pressing, when you touch the ground and floor with your foot, you feel hardness or softness, both in the floor or in the foot. That hardness and softness is the characteristic of the earth elements. So when you make one step, you can distinguish these 4 elements. Lifting the foot, you find fire and air elements. Pushing forward, you recognize the air elements, and putting down, you find water elements. In touching the ground or floor, the earth element, you find it. So you observe the 4 elements that are present in the single step, although at first you may not notice the presence of all 4 elements. Some elements you only capture. When you see elements clearly and you lose the concept of a being, you see now that there are just these elements, just material elements, just the rupa. Elements are going, elements are standing, elements are walking, etc. So when you see only these elements going, sitting, stretching, bending, and so on, you cannot see a person, and you lose the concept of a being. So the observations of the elements is explained in the Sutta with the simile of a butcher. Butcher is feeding a cow and is not nourishing the cow, then takes it to the slaughtering place. It is the final stage of our life. Slaughtering place, he ties it to the post and kills the cow. The butcher still has the notion that it is a being, a cow. If someone would ask him, "What are you doing?" he would say, "I am feeding the cow," or "I am killing the cow." Even after having killed it, before he cuts it up into pieces, butcher still maintains the view that it is a cow. But when after cutting the slaughter cow into pieces, he takes and puts the pieces on the table at the crossroad, from that point on, he loses the view of a cow. If someone would ask him, "What are you selling?" he would not say, "I am selling a cow." He would not say. So after cutting the cow into pieces, he loses the concept of a cow. In the same way, meditators are cutting your body, moment by moment, very precisely. You cut yourself into elements. Whatever you have, whatever is in your body, or elements. Then you will lose the concept of a being, a person. This Kaya Nupassana, Dhatu Manasikara, reflection on the elements, was taught by the Buddha to eliminate the concept of there is a being. So the simile should not lead to the conclusion that meditators must conceptualize the elements. The elements taught in Buddhism are in fact not concept, but are parts of what is called ultimate reality, which consists of consciousness, Citta, mental factor, Cettasika, Rupa, Metta, and Nibbana. They are considered to be the real things in contrast to things in conventional reality. So meditators can gain many benefits from practicing this kinds of meditation. Now, moment by moment, you are developing your concentration. When your concentration getting strengthened, by carefully noting every phenomena occurring at the six senses, you realize that an act of going consists of desire to go and the movements and expansion, and also standing and sitting. You discover that they are made up of desire to stand, desire to sit, followed by a series of movements and expansion. Also bending, stretching, changing postures. You very carefully move and note. Also when seeing, there is eye consciousness and visual object, smelling, nose consciousness and odors, Each phenomenon you see to arise for the moment, only to pass away instantly. Now your eyes are sharper than in the beginning. The limbs, hands and feet, head, the shape of the body are no longer felt and recognized as such. These material body appear merely as a recurrent physical process, rising and passing away incessantly. At this stage, yogis come to understand by yourself what Buddha said, how this body is like a mass of froth. So you perceive in this way and you realize that Rupa, our body is impermanent. It is terrible suffering because of incessant arising and vanishing. It is anatta because it is happening not as we wish, but according to its condition. It is not our own inner substance. It is not manageable and it is not controllable. And Master Sierra have this aphorism, Rupa is likened to froth. It is unstable, impermanent. It is constantly rising and vanishing. It is suffering. It is not safe. It is anatta. Can you follow me? Rupa is likened to froth. Rupa is likened to froth. It is unstable. It is impermanent. It is constantly arising and vanishing. It is suffering. It is not safe. It is anatta. So that is Phina Penupama Sutta. Buddha compare Phina Penupama Rupan. Rupa is likened to froth. So to see this fact, you are practicing meditation the whole day, the whole month, 2 months intensively. You need to see this true nature of the Rupa. So we'll continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing Vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, may you see that Rupa is impermanent, it is suffering because of incessant arising and vanishing. It is not safe because it is happening not as we wish, but according to its condition. It is not our own substance. It is unmanageable. It is not controllable. May you be liberated from all suffering. May you realize the real peace in the very near future. So,